Hello, I'm Xanderka2009. Just call me Drakina. I finally saw Wicked for Good, and I would like to have my own input on specific things that I saw. Just beware, this video will contain spoilers. Even though the film wasn't perfect, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the visuals, the music, and most of the acting. And I do admit that there were a lot of shocking moments. Most of all, I am so glad that the Scarecrow and the Tin Man were done with actors in costumes and makeup. If they had been CGI, fans of the musical and MGM movie would have been very disappointed. What I want to discuss in this video is that the Scarecrow and Tin Man started off as ordinary men, Fiyero and Boq, and under some life-threatening circumstances, they were transformed with spells using the Grimoire. And even though their circumstances were similar, they had very opposing outlooks on their transformations. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. When we catch up with Boq in Wicked for Good, he is working for Nessarose, who is now the governor of Munchkinland. And Nessarose wants Boq to be more than just a servant to her. Boq, however, wants out, and when he tries to leave Munchkinland, he finds out that Nessarose, in her position as governor, has forbidden Munchkins from leaving without permission. When Elphaba visits Nessarose, she uses the Grimoire to enchant Nessarose's jeweled slippers, making her float. Seeing Nessarose happy with her enchanted shoes, Boq announces that he's leaving to express his feelings for Glinda after he read about Glinda's wedding to Fiyero in the paper. Angry, Nessarose uses the Grimoire to cast a love spell on Boq, but she makes an error. The botched spell causes Boq's heart to shrink. Elphaba, at her sister's pleas, rushes to cast a spell to save Boq. Yet, there were some side effects. In order to live without a heart, Boq was transformed into a man made of tin. Furious about the transformation, Boq runs off to seek out his revenge. Since he doesn't appear again until he arrives into the Emerald City with Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion, I am guessing that when the tornado hits, he is already in the forest, getting rested from the rain. What? I like that Billy Talent song. During March of the Witch Hunters, Boq is loud and clear that he wants revenge on Elphaba. Glinda, who is shocked by all of this, can observe it in Boq's eyes that he's completely given in to hatred. What we do see of Boq after that is when he's trying and failing to help Dorothy when she's carried off by the flying monkeys. And the last shot we see of him is when he's trying to help Dorothy reach the wizard's balloon before the wizard can depart. Based on his choices, I doubt that Boq was even satisfied in the end. Before you tell me that the Tin Man got a happy ending, that's not the case with Wicked. In The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the wizard did give the Tin Man, Scarecrow, and Lion simple solutions to satisfy them. In the 1939 movie, the wizard gave them items and inspiring speeches. I'm guessing that in Wicked for Good, the wizard didn't do any of those, but I wouldn't put it past him giving that elixir to the lion. Also, I bet that Boq wasn't even fully satisfied once he heard of the witches melting. Since the books by Gregory Maguire never really covered the whereabouts of the Tin Man or Scarecrow after the events of Wicked and the wizard's departure, so it's all left to guesswork. My guess is that Boq just wanders the land of Oz alone after the departure of the wizard and Dorothy. He has no satisfaction, he has no purpose, and he has nowhere to go. Yes, that sounds miserable. And I understand that what happened to him was very tragic, but he made his choice to give in to hate, which is even more tragic. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. Monty Python's Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. When we catch up with Fiyero in Wicked for Good, he is captain of the Gale Force, the wizard's army. And while he is still serving the wizard, he also still cares about Elphaba, who has been named the enemy of Oz. And he's also engaged to Glinda. After Elphaba causes a commotion that disrupts Fiyero's wedding to Glinda, Fiyero betrays the wizard and flees with Elphaba, leaving Glinda behind. When the cyclone conjured by Madame Morrible drops a house on Nessarose, Elphaba comes to the scene. She and Glinda get into a fight about the shoes and Fiyero. And when the guards come for Elphaba, Fiyero helps her escape, and he is later arrested. As the Gale Force interrogates Fiyero, Elphaba uses the Grimoire to cast a spell to protect Fiyero from physical injury and pain. The result of that spell is that Fiyero becomes a scarecrow, unable to be injured or feel pain. He then later joins with Dorothy on the journey down the yellow brick road. At the end, Fiyero is reunited with Elphaba, who pretended to be melted. And while Elphaba felt guilty about transforming him, Fiyero is actually grateful that it saved him. Fiyero and Elphaba venture out of Oz and across the desert, into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. Sorry, just channeling some of that inner Idina Menzel. However, it is exile for them. They leave behind their home, they leave behind Glinda. Yet Fiyero and Elphaba are together. Being a scarecrow, Fiyero isn't worried about starving, which is why he took only a small pack of supplies meant mostly for Elphaba. While both Boq and Fiyero get transformed due to life-threatening circumstances by Elphaba using the Grimoire, they had very opposite outlooks on their situations. They made the same journey down the yellow brick road, but emotionally, they took opposite paths. Boq chose the dark side, and Fiyero chose the light. If you enjoyed watching this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Wait, just a clock tick. Boq knew about Nessarose's shoes, and he didn't tell Dorothy within the first 5 minutes of meeting her? That heartless son of a gun.